Zien Nuckie Sylvester was known for a bright smile and friendly videos. She often used her phone to share moments from her life as a young mother of 3. People online loved watching her posts because she showed real life, not fake perfection. She laughed, she danced, and she spoke with confidence. Every video looked warm and full of love. Her followers saw her as someone strong and joyful. Her page grew quickly because she was open about being a mom. Many other young mothers followed her for advice and comfort. Nuckie spoke about sleepless nights, baby messes, and small happy moments that made everything worth it. Her posts were short, but filled with life. She became a favorite among her followers, who said she made them smile on hard days. She made people feel like they knew her personally. As time passed, her online world started to change. The energy in her videos grew softer, and her updates became less frequent. The woman who once shared daily moments slowly began to disappear from people's screens. Some noticed her silence, but most thought she was just busy. Her timeline, once full of laughter, turned quiet. The light that once shined in her eyes looked dimmer in every new photo. In her later posts, she began to write short messages about feeling tired. Her captions became brief and serious. She spoke less about joy and more about how life felt heavy. The tone of her words showed she was carrying a weight that her followers could not see. The changes were small, but they built up over time until her social media started to look like a slow goodbye. Even when she stopped posting as much, her followers continued to comment on her old videos. They left hearts, compliments, and kind words. They believed she was taking time for herself and would return soon. Behind the screen, though, Nuckie was not resting. She was fighting a deep sadness that no one could understand by looking at her photos. The silence on her page was a reflection of what she felt inside. Her children were always at the center of her world. She posted about their birthdays, their laughter, and how proud she was to be their mother. To outsiders, it looked like love strong enough to hold her up. But even with that love, the battle in her mind continued. She kept smiling for her kids, but her strength was fading fast. By September 2025, her online activity had nearly stopped. When she finally posted again, it wasn't a video or a smile. It was a message that marked the end of her journey. Her once lively page became the place where the world learned she was gone. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment below. Where are you tuning in from? What are your thoughts as this story unfolds? Your voice matters. These are real people, real tragedies, and real lessons we can't ignore. Share this video with someone you care about. It could make all the difference. Welcome to Unseen Crime Dossiers, your home for spine-chilling cases, haunting before mysteries, and deep dives into the world of crime. From jaw-dropping real-life events to groundbreaking forensic discoveries, we're here to uncover the truth behind the most gripping investigations. Step inside, examine the evidence, and lose yourself in the shadows of true crime. On a quiet morning in September, Zien Nuckie Sylvester's social media came alive one last time. The post appeared without warning. It wasn't a dance, a smile, or a joke. It was a simple message that sounded like a farewell. The tone was heavy, the words slow and thoughtful. People who read it could feel something was wrong, but they didn't know how serious it truly was. Her message spoke about pain, exhaustion, and how she felt forgotten. It was written like someone trying to explain what silence feels like. There are no emojis, no pictures, no laughter. It was short but powerful enough to stop her followers in their tracks. Many read it twice, not realizing it would be her last update. Minutes after the post went live, comments began to fill the page. Friends begged her call, text, or answer. Others tried to comfort her, saying things would get better. The reactions came fast, but time moved faster. What looked like an emotional post was actually a signal of what was happening behind closed doors. At that same moment, Nuckie was inside her home, facing her thoughts alone. The house was silent, except for the sound of her children in another room. She moved carefully, as if following a plan she had already made. Every step she took was slow, calm, and heartbreaking. The world outside continued as normal, unaware that her message was not just words. It was a goodbye. As the hours passed, her friends kept calling, sending messages and tagging her name. They hoped she would respond or delete the post, but no one heard back. The online world kept spinning while her real world grew still. The post stayed pinned at the top of her page, gathering reactions and prayers that came too late. When her family finally reached her home, the truth was already set. The moment they entered, everything changed. What began as a digital cry for help had ended in tragedy. The walls that once held her laughter now carried silence. Her final act left everyone speechless, unable to understand how someone so full of light could fade so quickly. News of her death spread across social media within hours. Her name appeared on timelines and comments and in news updates. People who had followed her for years posted old videos, remembering her smile. The same platform that once made her loved now became the space where the world mourned her loss. The morning after Nuckie's final post, phones began to ring across her city. Messages filled group chats and notifications buzzed nonstop. People were confused, asking if what they heard was true. Screens were filled with disbelief as the news confirmed it. Zien Nuckie Sylvester was gone. The cheerful woman everyone saw online had left behind a silence that spread through every corner of social media. Friends began to gather at her home, standing outside with tears in their eyes. Some carried flowers. Others simply stood still, unable to speak. The yard that once held laughter now became a place of shock. Police cars and reporters lined the street, their flashing lights painting the quiet neighborhood with red and blue. As the story spread, everyone wanted to know what had happened inside those walls. People replayed her last video, searching for signs they had missed. Her words, her tone, her eyes, everything was rewatched over and over. Each view felt like a painful reminder that no one truly knew how much she was hurting. The media began to share headlines, each one more dramatic than the last. Pictures of Nuckie smiling were used everywhere. The same energy that had built her online presence now magnified her tragedy. For many, it felt unreal. A person who had made others happy could not possibly be gone so soon. But the truth was right there in every report. Her family tried to stay strong as they faced questions from every direction. The weight of explaining her loss was too heavy to carry. They released a short message asking for peace and privacy. Still, her story kept spreading. From TikTok to Facebook, people shared her videos, quoting her words, and leaving thousands of comments filled with disbelief. In the following days, memorials were held, candles were lit, balloons were released, and songs were played in her honor. The world that once celebrated her energy now mourned her silence. Every photo, every video, every word became a piece of her memory that no one wanted to let go of. Even weeks later, her name continued to trend. People spoke about her daily, trying to find meaning in her final moments. Nuckie's story had become bigger than her city. It became a lesson about unseen pain, about the smiles that can hide sadness, and about how fast life can change without warning. After the news of Nuckie's passing settled, people began to look deeper into her story. Friends, followers, and even strangers started sharing clips and screenshots from her old videos. Many said she had been dropping small hints that no one noticed before. Her laughter, though bright, sometimes faded too quickly. Her captions, though funny, often carried hidden sadness that people only understood now. Her closest friends spoke softly about how she had been feeling overwhelmed. Life behind the screen was different from what everyone saw online. She was a mother, a sister, and a friend trying to manage everything at once. Some said she struggled with pressure, trying to keep up with social media. While dealing with personal problems, she kept private. As investigators reviewed her final hours, they found no signs of outside harm. Everything pointed to a moment of quiet pain that became too much to bear. Her phone, still on the table, held unread messages from people begging her to answer. It was clear that the world reacted too late. Community leaders and mental health advocates began using her name to start conversations. They spoke about checking on people who seem happy, about looking beyond smiles and filters. Schools, churches, and online spaces shared her story as a reminder that everyone fights unseen battles. Her family stayed away from the spotlight, focusing on her children and their future. They asked the public to remember her for her energy, not just her end. They said she was more than her final post. She was a bright soul who touched many hearts and made people feel seen. As the weeks passed, the story continued to shape discussions across the country. People began opening up about their own pain, saying Nuckie's story gave them courage to speak out. Her loss became a wake-up call that reached far beyond her hometown. By the end of the month, her page turned into a memorial filled with love, candles, and memories. Every comment carried the same message. People wished they had noticed sooner, reached out faster, or listened more carefully. Her name became a symbol of awareness, reminding everyone that even the loudest laughter can hide the quietest pain. When investigators entered Nuckie's home, they moved carefully through every room. They collected her phone, laptop, and a few handwritten notes from her table. Each item told a piece of the story that no one had seen before. Her devices became the key to understanding what had truly happened in those final hours. The officers focused on her last activities online, hoping to find what pushed her to the edge. Her social media accounts showed a timeline filled with activity, messages, likes, and private conversations. They noticed she had spoken to a few people shortly before her final post. Some of the messages were emotional but unclear. Investigators reached out to those people to understand what was said, but many were too shocked to remember details. What they found, however, painted a picture of deep isolation. The police ruled out foul play early in the case. There were no signs of struggle or forced entry. The evidence suggested that everything that happened inside that home was planned by Nuckie herself. Still, detectives couldn't ignore the online pressure that might have contributed. They reviewed negative comments, rude messages, and old posts that had caused her distress. As screenshots and rumors began to spread, online detectives, ordinary people, started forming their own theories. Some said she had been bullied in secret. Others believed someone close to her had influenced her actions. Social media became divided between truth and speculation, making it difficult to separate facts from fiction. The local authorities released a brief statement confirming her cause of death, but avoided sharing private details. They urged the public to respect her family and stop spreading false claims. But the internet moved differently. Every photo, caption, and reaction was examined by people searching for hidden meaning. The investigation had ended, but the online debate only grew stronger. Weeks later, a quiet update came from officials confirming there was no criminal involvement. The story was closed in their records, but it remained open in the minds of her followers. Many still believed there was more to the story, something unseen, something untold. Her name continued to appear in new discussions about mental health and digital pressure. By the end of the inquiry, one fact remained clear. What happened to Nuckie could happen to anyone. Behind her smile was a struggle that went unnoticed until it was too late. The investigation ended, but her memories stayed alive as a reminder of the silent battles hidden behind bright screens. After the investigation ended, the internet refused to move on. People from across the country began sharing videos, stories, and reactions to Nuckie's passing. Hashtags with her name trended for days, gathering millions of views. Each post carried sadness and confusion, but also a sense of unity among those who followed her journey. The digital world that once lifted her up now stood still in reflection. Fans began turning her videos into tributes. Short clips of her laughter, her words, and her dances filled platforms like TikTok and Instagram. People added music, candles, and text overlays that said, "Rest easy, Nuckie." Her voice, once a source of joy, now echoed through countless memories shared by strangers who had never met her but felt connected to her story. Many online creators used their platforms to speak about mental health. They reminded viewers to check on their friends, especially those who always seem fine. Some started live sessions to discuss the effect of online pressure and how unseen pain can grow behind constant attention. Nuckie's story inspired a wave of awareness that reached beyond her own circle. Her hometown organized an online candlelight vigil that streamed across several social platforms. Thousands watched live, typing messages of love and support in the comments. Photos of her surrounded by friends and family appeared throughout the event. For many, it was the first time they truly saw the person behind the social media image. Businesses and organizations began to create digital safety campaigns using her story as a lesson. They spoke about balance, privacy, and the importance of taking breaks from the internet. Her legacy slowly became part of a larger conversation about how fame, even small-scale online fame, can bring both light and weight. Her family later shared a simple message thanking everyone for their kindness. They said Nuckie's memory would continue to live through her children and the positive impact her story had created. They encouraged people to remember her for her creativity, her humor, and the energy she gave to others. Over time, her name became more than a headline. It turned into a reminder that behind every smile online lies a human story. Zien Nuckie Sylvester's legacy became a call to see people more clearly, to listen more carefully, and understand that even in the brightest light, shadows can still remain unseen. In the weeks following Nuckie's death, a quiet change began to spread through her community. People started forming small support groups, both online and in person. These gatherings focus on talking openly about stress, sadness, and the struggles that are often hidden. Her story became the spark that pushed many to take emotional health more seriously. Local schools began hosting talks about online safety and emotional awareness. Teachers used her story to teach students that what they see on social media is not always real life. Posters with her photo and the words, "Check on your friends," appeared in hallways and classrooms. The message was simple: kindness could save lives. Community leaders, pastors, and counselors joined together to launch a program in her memory. It aimed to provide free counseling for young people dealing with loneliness or pressure. They named the campaign the Nuckie Project, using her story as a reminder that silence can be dangerous. The project quickly gained attention across nearby cities. On social media, her name continued to appear in conversations about healing. People began tagging her profile when sharing messages of hope or support. Instead of focusing on how she died, they turned attention to what could be learned from her life. Influencers, musicians, and even local politicians shared her story as an example of awareness and change. Her close friends became advocates for mental health. They visited radio stations and podcasts, speaking about her legacy and the importance of checking on loved ones. Every appearance ended with the same message: everyone should take time to care for themselves and others. The goal was to make sure no one else felt unseen the way she once did. Months later, an annual remembrance event was created in her honor. People gathered to celebrate her life through music, dance, and storytelling. It wasn't just a memorial, it was a movement. The event reminded everyone that her laughter, though gone, still carried meaning in the lessons she left behind. By the end of the year, Zien Nuckie Sylvester's story had changed how many people viewed online life. Her loss became a reason for awareness, action, and compassion. Through every post, project, and conversation that followed, her memory lived on, not as a tragedy, but as a reminder to speak up, to listen closely, and to care deeply for one another. Time passed, but Nuckie's story never faded. Her name continued to echo in online spaces, classrooms, and homes. People spoke of her not as a forgotten influencer, but as a symbol of awareness. Her story became a daily reminder of how powerful words can be, and how silence can sometimes say even more. Parents began using her experience to talk to their children about feelings, sadness, and how to ask for help. Families watch her old videos together, not for entertainment, but to understand the signs of hidden pain. What once felt like a tragedy slowly turned into a tool for teaching compassion and understanding in every household that knew her name. Media outlets revisited her case to discuss how social pressure affects young creators. They shared advice on healthy boundaries, taking breaks, and valuing real connections over online attention. Every article carried the same message: what happened to Nuckie must not be ignored. Her loss reshaped conversations about safety in the digital world. Many of her followers said they began to live differently because of her. Some deleted their pages to focus on peace of mind. Others stayed online, but used their platforms to share positive messages. Her influence quietly guided a generation toward healthier habits, showing that even in absence, impact can remain strong. Her family continued to honor her privately, avoiding interviews and public events. They focused on raising her children with love and support, keeping her memory alive through stories and photos. For them, every laugh, every milestone was a piece of her that continued to shine through the people she left behind. Artists, writers, and filmmakers found inspiration in her life. Documentaries and short films began exploring her journey, aiming to spread awareness rather than sadness. Her face became a symbol of strength, a reminder that behind every image, there's a person with hopes, fears, and dreams. Years later, Zien Nuckie Sylvester's stories still touch hearts around the world. Her voice, though silent, continued to speak through every message shared in her honor. She became more than a name. She became a reminder that kindness, listening, and understanding can change lives long after the screens go dark. The final chapter of Nuckie's story is not about how she left. It's about what she left behind. Her journey showed the world that every person has two sides, the one they show and the one they hide. Through her life, people learned that even a bright smile can cover deep pain. Her passing became a lesson that words, care, and attention can make all the difference. Communities that once gathered online for entertainment now gather for healing. Her followers use her name as a reminder to check in on friends and family. They share stories, advice, and open conversations about mental health. What once began as mourning turned into movement, a quiet but powerful change built on understanding and awareness. Schools, churches, and organizations now share her story in their programs. They talk about how life behind the screen can be heavy and how important it is to reach out before it's too late. Her legacy continues to encourage people to speak honestly, listen carefully, and look deeper than the surface. Nuckie's name still trends from time to time, but for a new reason, not for shock or sadness, but for hope. People use her story to spread kindness, reminding others that being real is more important than being perfect. Her influence now lives in small gestures, a kind word, a text to a friend, or a moment of honesty shared online. In her hometown, a mural stands painted with her face, surrounded by bright colors and soft light. The words beneath read, "You are not alone." It stands as both a tribute and a message to everyone who passes by. The art captures not just who she was, but what she represented, a symbol of strength, awareness, and truth. Her family visits the mural every year, bringing flowers and candles. They speak about her laughter, her energy, and the love she gave so freely. Each visit reminds them that though she is gone, her presence still surrounds them in the hearts of those she touched. The story of Zien Nuckie Sylvester ends not with darkness, but with light. Her voice continues through every person who chooses kindness over silence. Her memory stands as proof that a single story can change how people see one another, and that sometimes the most powerful message is the one left behind. Here at Unseen Crime Dossiers, we're driven by a mission to uncover hidden realities, honor forgotten voices, and keep their memories alive. If this story made you pause, reflect, or feel something, there's more coming that will challenge you even deeper. Make sure to hit subscribe, tap the like button, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss a case. We're dropping new episodes regularly, and trust us, what's ahead is even more chilling. Before you go, we want to hear from you. What moment hit you the hardest? Drop it in the comments. Your perspective matters, and your voice helps keep these stories alive. Until next time, stay alert, stay informed, and never stop seeking the truth, because every life deserves to be heard. Thanks you all for watching.